Welcome to this latest video podcast about the Encyclopedia of Seventh-day Adventists online. The Encyclopedia of Seventh-day Adventists, or the ESDA, was released on July 1st. It is the Adventist Church's first online reference work, and it features thousands of articles from around the world on a rich variety of topics, including articles on Adventist missionaries, evangelists and church leaders, Adventist institutions and organizations, and our beliefs and their historical development. If you haven't checked the ESDA website yet, please do so. It's at encyclopedia.adventist.org. That's encyclopedia.adventist.org, and you can browse nearly 2,500 articles and 4,000 photographs. I'm David Trim. I'm the editor of the Encyclopedia of Seventh-day Adventists. I'm your host, and with me as co-host is Dr. Dragoslava Santrac, the managing editor of ESDA. And we're delighted to have as our guest today Pastor Erton Kohler, the president of the South American Division. Pastor Kohler, thank you very much for making time to be with us on this video podcast today.
Hi David, hi Dragoslava. It's a pleasure to be with you today participating in this podcast.
Pastor Kohler, it's a pleasure to have you with us in this podcast episode for several reasons, but one is that while many of the Adventist Church's world divisions have been very supportive of the ESDA project, the South American Division has probably given the greatest logistical and financial support, for which we're very grateful, by the way. But what has motivated you and your brother officers? What is the significance of the Encyclopedia of Seventh-day Adventists for your division?
Well, at the South American Division, we understand that it's fundamental to rescue our history because our pioneers had a strong sense of mission. That's why when we support ESDA with interest, guidance, and financial resources, we are investing in the mission. This is our priority. Writing our history is not only a matter of research and writing, it is also an investment in our efforts to fulfill the mission. Today, we have more structure and resources, but we need the dedication and the commitment of those who came before us.
Pastor Kohler, the ESDA Online was launched recently. How was it received in the South American Division? Could you tell us, please?
Oh, very well. At the South American Division, there was a lot of expectation on the part of those involved in this project. Also, church leadership and members were very interested. I see a growing interest in our history, not only for knowledge, but also for the inspiration of those who came before us. But in addition, we have several higher education institutions where professors and students will use the encyclopedia for research and academic support.
What would you say to other church administrators about supporting this project? How can they help? And also, do you think helping ESDA or work that is largely history can make a contribution to the mission of the church today, to the mission at large?
Look, I believe that a church that has no relationship with its past is at risk of losing focus on the present and becoming irrelevant in the future. That is why I believe that as leaders, we must support projects like ESDA with words, but more than that, attitudes and resources. Projects and materials like this go beyond history. They strengthen our roots and our mission. When we know better our institutions and the people who help in different areas of our denomination, we understand better who we are. This is the root of our identity. When this identity is clear, we can move forward easily to fulfill the mission, just as we gave all the support with human and financial resources. I recommend the same to the leaders in other regions.
Now, the South American Division is one of the fastest growing divisions of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It currently has more than 2.5 million members. are there any common factors that can be attributed to church growth across the countries and regions of South America? Are there some valuable lessons from our history to be learned for Adventist mission in this time? So, really, I guess what we're saying is, has the encyclopedia helped South American leaders to identify issues and trends?
Yes, indeed. I am passionate about the history of the church and our pioneers. I can always see behind this history the revelation of trends that need to be maintained, trends of strategies that can be repeated. In addition, by knowing the mistakes and success in each region or institution, we can learn from the past to be more assertive in our decisions today.
Pastor Kohler, thank you for sharing some inspiring thoughts on how the encyclopedia helps with the trends and identifying mission issues and questions for the world church today. Right now, could you please share with us one or two ESDA stories from your territory that touched you or perhaps surprised you?
There's a lot of incredible information that I can share with you, but I want to highlight just 2 points as you request me. First, one of our institutions, the Adventist Media Center that we call Novo Tempo Communication Network. And second, one of our pioneers, Ignacio Kalbermatter. The Adventist Media Center that we call Novo Tempo Network is the communication network that coordinates the TV, radio, and internet in Portuguese and Spanish. The institution was created in 1996 with 8 employees. You can imagine, just 8 people, and today it has more than 500 employees, reaching a potential audience of 220 million people in 8 countries in South America. Monthly, the Adventist Media Center, Novo Tempo, sends thousands of Bible studies to its listeners. Internet users and TV viewers work with the Bible School, which reach almost 1.5 million people, and is one of the most effective missionary tools that the church has in the South American Division territory. It's amazing the work that they are doing. But Ignacio Kalbermatter's story is the impressive. He was a missionary pastor in Paraguay, in Argentina, in Peru, in Bolivia, sacrificing a lot. He opened the way for the establishment and growth of the church in those regions. When he worked in Paraguay, where his district was the whole country, he lost his first child, a boy who was a little over a year. From Paraguay, he went to Bolivia. There, tragically, he lost his second child, a baby girl with 9 months old girl. Those were very, but very difficult years, but Ignacio and his wife Cecilia strengthened their commitment to God. The most interesting thing is to see that the seed they planted produced its fruits. Decades later, his grandson, also named Ignacio, was chosen as the president of the Paraguay Union of Church Mission, now also responsible for the church in the whole country. He is following the steps of his family. A few years later, Iran, Ignacio's great-grandson, was nominated as president of the Bolivia Union Mission, who went back to the country to continue the work started by those pioneers. Ignacio Kalbermatter's children were buried in these countries, but his descendants returned to continue the work of preaching the gospel. It is touching to see the commitment of these pioneers and their families, an inspiration for all of us today.
Pastor Kohler, we understand that you are passionate about Adventist history. Now, sometimes there is an assumption that an encyclopedia must be boring, or that its articles must only be for scholars or perhaps church leaders. What about the ESDA? Do you think it's worth reading by ordinary church members who aren't administrators or academics?
Look, our history is an inspiration for everybody. I can touch the hearts of ordinary people, expand the vision of leaders, and offer precious tools for research. But when we motivate our brothers and sisters to know our past better, we give them the chance to see how God made His work grow. He used ordinary people to do extraordinary things. I believe this can motivate them to have a greater commitment to God, His cause, and especially His mission.
And what about your people? Would you recommend it to them? Do you think they will find something interesting in the stories and information in the encyclopedia?
Look, our young people enjoy adventures and are driven by challenges. We need to help them see our history as a rich source of challenges, adventures, and victories. They can see in every chapter of our past how God opened the doors and performed miracles. This can give them a more solid faith, which is something difficult in the days that we are living. Many of our young people are accustomed to look only to the future. Reading the encyclopedia will also make them look back in search of their roots. This will give them a stronger identity. I believe deeply on that.
As we draw to an end of this interview, Pastor Kohler, are there any last thoughts you would like to share with our viewers and listeners and with readers of the Encyclopedia online?
Look, friends, first my gratitude for the opportunity to have this conversation with you, for being able to support a project that is so relevant as ESDA. Soon, we will have all the material of the encyclopedia in Portuguese and Spanish, which will make it more accessible to the entire church in our territory. But second, I leave my desire for parents, pastors, youth leaders, and educators to encourage their children, church members, youth, teenagers, pathfinders, adventurers, and students to explore the full potential of ESDA so they can make the experience of our past a blessing for the present, for the future, and for the eternity.
Pastor Kohler, thank you very much for being our guest and indeed for your tremendous support of the Encyclopedia of Seventh-day Adventists. We pray that the Encyclopedia brings tremendous blessings for the church in your division and beyond. This was Erton Kohler, the president of the South American Division. Please read the hundreds of articles from the South American Division and check out the other articles on the Encyclopedia online, now more than 2,400. They are at encyclopedia.adventist.org. Thanks for being with us. God bless.